All right, guys, let's go over the final update, the weekend update for GameStop, for the meme stocks, and just the correlations around the market, especially the indices and the VIX futures. So, I don't think I need to go into this setup too much, but just to say that the cleanest setup so far is in the memes is this perfect W setup where you have your high, you drop down, you have your double bottom, you have your first pump, you have your pullback, and then you launch. And what do I mean by that in terms of pullback? It could be just, not very big at all, and then you just go. Or it could, maybe have a deeper retrace and go. Doesn't really matter to me. Now, the MACD looks the same. RSI, same. PMO indicator, same. Price is above the anchored VWAP band and the midline, and our moving average is crossing through. It's pretty much what's happening here. So if we go to this section here in 2021 in January, and that's where this whole thing, this last accumulation was before we had our squeeze move, we look even more bullish in terms of positioning than this because this didn't even break the upper band. We have now, and we've just been chopping over this since, and we are also over the daily 200. So this whole section started on June 11th, and you didn't have a full squeeze until that Wednesday, the 13th. So what I'm trying to say is the second week of January is really when everything started to pop off. Okay. And I think that's kind of what's happening here. And let me first start off with the VIX futures, and then we'll get into SPX. But I've been doing a lot of work comparing the VIX futures to 2021 pre-squeeze, and it's remarkable what is happening here. On the RSI, this is the 4-hour comparison. Let me get to that area real quick. Okay, side by side here. You have a gap up first. You create this, this M pattern marked by the first flag. You drop down to support. You basically chop in a zone here marked by this box all the way up into the squeeze. And what happens is on the RSI 4-hour, you create a really nice pennant or wedge, compressing in volatility, and then you have your release. Well, that's exactly what we have here. We have our gap up, we have our M, we have our zone of consolidation compression. Now, on the micro, it's not the exact same, right? But let me ask you here, or let's just check for ourselves. We're in this zone here, and we had the M pattern, we had another pump, we had a dump to support, and then we have this consolidation. Well, you can see on the left side of your screen the consolidation after hitting support the second time after this X was the second week of January. The 11th, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, all the way compressing until that Monday squeeze. Well, we're in this zone. We've hit support twice, once, twice, and now we're compressing up and down into the zone. And Monday is the 9th, the second week of February. So I'm sort of suggesting that it's a possibility that the second week of February of trading is the same as the second week of January. And it's potential midweek or maybe Monday, we have some major news and a catalyst. So this looks amazing. Okay. Now I want to go to SPX theory, and I posted a video on my X account about that, and I said I'm expecting a major pump from this support line. And that's literally what we did. So let me on the left side get to 2021. We have this area of extreme volatility and expansion of resistance and support right here in October 2020. And then on October 30th, we launch into a choppy bull channel. So all of the meme squeezes, the May 2024, the January 2021, SPX, and you can check this for yourself, does this. It just grinds up mindlessly, not really doing anything, but overall moving in an upward trajectory. It does it. GameStop and AMC do not squeeze when the markets are crashing or when SPX is going parabolic. 90 days from that first bounce out of the volatility expansion area hits exactly on January 27th. So we go to the right side of the screen here, and 90 days projection from November 21st is a Wednesday as well, February 18th. Now, if you look at the bottom here, I said that we have 4 support bottoms before we have a bigger drop into the gold arrow, which would be the squeeze week. Here we go again, 4 support bottoms with the flat top, and I'm expecting this move to continue up in the market into this box here, into this resistance. I do not expect 7, I would just say 710. 710 is not going to break, okay, this white line. Because what I do expect is you're going to come back up here and you're going to chop and then you're going to dump. It's going to look something like that. And the faster we move up Monday, the better, because then you have more time to dump and hit that February 18th target. Look, I don't know if it's going to be February 18th because remember, well, I don't want to get there just yet, but if it's the second week of January of 2021, then you should technically have only 2 more weeks left before the squeeze. Next week and then the squeeze week, which would put it on the Wednesday, the 18th. Okay, but I don't want to get too far into that. I just want to keep consistently analyzing all of these theories and seeing the results because we are seeing the results right now. So that's VIX Futures, SPX, GameStop. I want to mention as well this shape here, this massive W shape, does happen in other spots as well. I do see that. So this shape right, whoa, hold on, sorry. This shape right here, okay, it happened in, I'm gonna go to one of my other charts real quick. Okay, so it happened at the bottom of 2020. So let's go to 2020. Not just the micro area of December 2020, but also the bottom. We had a W shape. There it is right there. Okay, and funny enough, the moving averages, the 50 daily, the 200 daily are oriented the exact same way. But here's your W. Here's your W. Okay. We also have another example in a stock that many people give me shit for, but AMC. I don't want to show that right. That is a different chart here. Well, let me actually just pull it up right here. One second. So we had another really clean W consolidation in AMC, and I want to show you that. It was in several spots actually, but the real clear one was right here in 2020. So here you go. right? And this one also looks really, really good on GameStop as well. So I'm showing this not to say, hey, it's going to track one for one. I'm showing this to say the setup is there. Okay. And I don't know if we need a pullback first, just like you see right here. But this is where you get into accumulation and distribution schematics and how to notice these things, analyzing that and with volume as well. But with all that being said, I do think this is one of the best setups we've had in a long, long time. And now finally, I want to go and I want to ask, well, what is IWM doing, right? Well, let's check that out real quick. I'm trying to think of the best way to probably do this, but maybe I have so many charts, so bear with me for just a second. Okay, I think I'll probably do it on this chart here. So let me pull up IWM. Let me show you something. I called for a 4% candle last Thursday before we literally went up 3.6%. And the reason why I did that was because I said, okay, well, my theory is that we're tracking January now, and we are doing this stair step ladder, over the 50 daily. And if we're tracking that, that first, second week of January, well, what happened when we kind of came back down to support? So let me get rid of this here. So here's sort of like your trend support, right? And sometimes you have to go to like lower time frames just to kind of get the moving average support correct, and sometimes that's okay. And let me put this one on the 4 hour and go to the 2021 spot here because you'll see it more clearly. There you go. Okay, so I said like, okay, we went down and touched the 50. It's probably a good likelihood you're going to have a huge pop, and that's exactly what happened. We had a 4% candle. And also not just because it touched the 50, but because my theory is that going into the second week of January. And look, these patterns can speed up and it can slow down, but I think probably you're going to speed up. And so what I'm expecting from IWM guys is I'm expecting something like this, and this is where I will grab a fractal, and I will sort of do something like this. So, and I also have one other thing to add to IWM after this, not just the bar pattern and all that stuff, but something a little bit more technically sound. Okay, so I think it's possible we see something like this, and you literally go to 290 in a short fashion, and IWM leads the charge here, pushing the meme super high. So I would not be surprised if we saw. Now, don't get obsessed with the timing of this, like the fact that it goes into April. We just have to see, because again, that's why fractals you got to be careful. But obviously, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Okay, so and then also too, what did I want to say as well? Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, bear with me here. What I wanted to see overall with IWM is from the major drop, I wanted to see price get to the 1618 Fibonacci extension, as you can see here. The reason is because in 2021, when we had our COVID crash, we do a Fibonacci retracement and going to the extension of the 1618. Well, when did the memes actually make their largest move? Was literally, look, it was literally right when we tapped the 1618, and then we had a market fall after that. Let me get this exactly right. There you go. Okay, so right here is where we get the ultimate confirmation that we're about to squeeze. And does it have to be perfect? No, it doesn't have to be. But I just want to show you that, you know, it's getting close to the 1618. We don't have much further to go in terms of percentage. So I'd probably bring this down a tad and I'd say something like that, right? So if we can get IWM, guys, to 290, I think we will be squeezing. Okay? I think we will be squeezing. And 290 from here is only, what is that, like, it's 9-10%, 8%. And we did a almost 4% day in one day. So I'm also analyzing this in the background as well. So this was kind of a long video, and I apologize for that, but I kind of wanted to get into as much as possible. AMC, I've already showed you what I'm looking at on my X. I'm looking at the OBV, and you may think whatever you want to think about that, but I have bought AMC, and I do think it's going to explode and shock some people, I think, because I'm seeing a lot of things with that. And if I think GameStop's going to have a extreme markup here soon, then AMC probably will, at the bare minimum, have a sympathy move as well. So take care, guys. Everything looks good. SPX theory, VIX futures theory, IWM theory, GameStop accumulation pattern, the big W accumulation clean on support, just like AMC did in 2021, just like we did in 2020 for GameStop, just like we had a micro accumulation in December 2020 before the God candle. It's all lining up per my work. We just have to be patient and see what we get next week. All right, guys, take care.